Welcome back to V2K Photography. This is the Nikon 50mm f2.8 micro lens MC lens for the mirrorless mount. Let's unbox this guy. Opening the box, we have, looks like a carrying case or carrying pouch. What is this? This is the Z series sticker. That's interesting. That's awesome. Maybe it's a laptop sticker, definitely goes onto my laptop. The filter thread, it's a 46mm filter thread. We have instruction manual papers. Inside the box, inside the bubble wrap, we have the lens itself. The lens is really small compared to the other S lenses. For instance, this is the 50mm 1.8 S lens. It's about half the size. Additionally, we have macro capabilities on this one. I don't know the exact weight of it, but all I can say is it feels like nothing. It's truly lightweight. The barrel does not extend unless we get into the macro realm. For normal usages, the lens behaves normally. When we get really close to the subject is when the barrel extends out and enables the macro capability. The lens has a dedicated autofocus manual focus switch, so we don't have to fiddle around in the menu to switch to manual focus. Also, when we turn the focus ring, we immediately get into the manual focus mode. We have another switch, that's the range switch for the focus distance. So one is for the macro, which is from 0.3 meters to 0.16 meters, and the other one is the full range, all the way up to infinity. The front filter is only 46mm, so yeah, cheaper filters. And it is also a highly capable portrait lens. Let's talk about the macro capabilities of this lens. This lens is capable of producing 1:1 magnification. The lens drops down in its effective aperture from 2.8 to 5.6 as we focus from infinity to the closest focusing distance. At the closest focusing distance, it drops down to 5.6 aperture. It is quite common in macro lenses, so it's worth mentioning. Let's talk about the sharpness of this lens. The lens is razor sharp in the middle of the frame. The sharpness drops down a little bit towards the edges, but it's not too significant. The fall off is not too extreme. The middle of the frame, or even until the rule of thirds, the sharpness is impeccable. And the resolving power of this lens on the Z7 II, which is like 45 megapixels, right, is truly amazing. All right, let's talk about the autofocus performance. Okay, I made some quick tests with my daughter, taking some portraits of her. The eye autofocus stood up really well. It was so good. The focus was really sharp. It hit the eye every single time, so it was brilliant to use as a portrait lens. And also, I tested some video autofocus tracking with this lens. And the way it transitions from my face to the phone is like really smooth and confident. That's exactly what I need in video autofocus. Even in the macro realm, the autofocus is smooth. When it transitions from one place to another, one focus point to another focus point, or one subject to another subject, it is really smooth. Sometimes if the contrast is too less, it tends to hunt. I think it's common to any camera or any lens, but in general, if there is really good contrast, it just transitions between that subject to this subject, even if it's like really close to the camera, so well. This was one of the examples. So I was trying to focus on the tip of the drill bit, and he was pulling the focus, yeah, yes, and yes, that's where we are. Mind you, the autofocus speed was the slowest in the camera, so it could have been much faster, but I usually set somewhere between normal and slow, so to have the cinematic focus pull from one place to another. Even the chromatic aberration on this lens was barely noticeable, even at high contrast areas. The bokeh is smooth, gives a beautiful separation. When the focus is on closer subjects, the bokeh circles are not completely circular. It takes the shape of the blades, right? Because the effective aperture drops down to 5.6 when it's at the closest focusing distance. So the bokeh circles are not circular. It takes some polygon shape. This 50mm 2.8 macro lens is an excellent addition to the Nikon S lens arsenal. It can serve as a travel photography lens, a street photography lens, even a portrait lens, and of course, a wonderful macro lens. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, bye-bye.